And good evening. Welcome to show number 4 of the Let's Go Racing Motorsports Report. I am Mike Babicz, your host, and the voice of the Wilmot Raceway and other area racing from time to time. And we're ready for, it's show number 4 already. We've gone through almost a month's worth of shows here on the Let's Go Racing Motorsports Report. And we want to thank our newest sponsor coming on board about 30 minutes ago. Is Fox Lake Harbor, Dave Mullis and his fine crew. They're located at 400 East Grand Avenue in Fox Lake. Contact Dave Mullis at foxlakeharbor.com. They can handle your service needs, new boats, used boats, you name it, they can take care of you. That's Fox Lake Harbor. And we thank Dave Mullis, past racing champion at Wilmot Raceway and with the Interstate Racing Association, and a longtime supporter of Wilmot Raceway and is continuing to support Wilmot Raceway. So, again, thanks to Dave Mullis coming on board about 30 minutes ago to be our latest sponsor here of the Let's Go Racing Motorsports Report. Also want to thank Scott Carpenter of B&L Office Furniture of Kenosha. He provides me with my set and my chair and a few other things that are in here. So thank you very much, Scott Carpenter of B&L Office Furniture. RC Communications, they're located in Salem Lakes. They help provide some of the things which I need for communication when I'm at a racetrack, including Wilmot Raceway. So thanks, RC Communications. Also, our good friends from Great Lakes Dragaway up there in Union Grove, Wisconsin, where they race 6 days a week. And we're going to have John on in just a little bit and talk to him about what's coming up at Great Lakes Dragaway. Also, Steve Sinclair and the Interstate Racing Association Outlaw Sprint Cars, as well as the Wingless Sprints and the IRA Lightning Sprints. And we're going to have representatives from all 3 of those groups on with us tonight, and also get a report on how things happened up in New Richmond, Wisconsin this last Saturday night. They were the only one of the IRA classes that were able to actually race this last weekend. Also, Wilmot Raceway, and speaking of not being able to race this last weekend, it was a good call by the track personnel. Yeah, they did call it when the sun was still shining and it seemed like it was a beautiful day, but they had word from very reliable sources that the weather was going to hit the raceway and the Kenosha County Fairgrounds right after we had opened up the grandstand gates, and that was true to form at about 5:40 p.m. As I was finishing up the press release on our cancellation and what's coming up this month of May at Wilmot. The skies opened up. Very, very hard, heavy rain hit the racetrack and the facility, and there's no way we would have gotten any racing in last Saturday night. So, again, that was a good call to call off the racing program, but racing will continue this Saturday night at Wilmot Raceway with the wingless sprints, the winged 604 crate engine-powered sprints, the modifieds, and the unified street stocks. That's all 4 classes that are in action this Saturday, May the 11th. For more information, go to wilmotraceway.com or check out the official Wilmot Raceway Facebook page. Also, want to thank A1 Apparel and Diecast. They help us out here at the Let's Go Racing Motorsports Report. And also Lake County Hose and Equipment. Bill Fusting and the Fusting gang, they help us out as well. And again, we thank Lake County Hose and Equipment coming on board with us. Also, MLS Auto Clinic, Eddie and Debbie Boyd up there in Paddock Lake. They help us out as well. And coming up on June 12th, we're going to have a car show at the newest Culver's in Paddock Lake, just on Highway 75, they technically call it. We kind of refer to it as 83 here in Illinois as you're getting up close to Highway 50. Car show, motorsports cars, as well as street cars. That'll be on June 12th, starting at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and going until dark. So, again, we want to thank all of our various sponsors that help us here at the Let's Go Racing Motorsports Report. And last but certainly not least, Cabins on the Lake in Friendship, Wisconsin. If you're looking for a place to get away, check out Cabins on the Lake in Friendship, Wisconsin. They do a great job up there, and Patty and Eddie, and we'll be going to visit them this summer for my family reunion. So we do have waiting in the wings over there. We have a couple of folks waiting in the wings. And what we're going to do is we're going to first go to Mike New. Mike New races with the IRA. There he is. There's Mike.
Mike
races with the IRA Lightning Sprints. Let's see. You guys have got a new series sponsor this year, don't you?
That's right. One of our longtime sponsors, 1175 Sports Park and Eatery up in Kansasville. They jumped on and they sponsored our series. We got a 2-year contract with them. So good news.
They also hosted the Wilmot Raceway banquet this last January. And I understand the Wilmot Raceway banquet will be returning there once again in January of 2025. So great place to stop by, get yourself a bite to eat, take in some sports. I know they'll have some racing on, right, Mike?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, Mike, I know the weather has kind of delayed the start for the Lightning Sprints. Tell us a little bit about what you've got planned for 2024 and what the series has planned now that the first night was washed out this last Saturday at Wilmot.
Yeah, so on the series side, we lost opening night at Wilmot. We typically schedule May through September. We've tried doing some April races before, and they never usually work out for us weather-wise, and it gives a chance for some of the new guys to get some practice in if we don't have races scheduled in April. So, we lost our opener at Wilmot, so we'll move to this coming up Saturday at Sycamore with the IRA 410s and the Badger Midgets. This was our third year doing that show. Sycamore has been a track that we go to regularly. We're there 3 times this year. So it's always great going back there. They're very welcoming. On the team side, the Dream Chaser Racing team that my dad runs. So I'll be returning this year full-time as well. Nick Petska coming back out of retirement. We got him a little bit out of retirement last year just to race the Wilmot races, but he's coming back full-time as well. And then in our third car, my sister Krista, her boyfriend Nate, is going to be driving it as one of our rookies this year. He doesn't have any circle track experience, but he does have some Monster Jam truck experience as a driver and a crew chief.
Well, that's going to be great. You always want to get some different views and different folks interested in circle track racing, as sometimes we refer to it, or oval track. Now, were you able to get any practice in the couple of practices that Wilmot was able to have?
Yeah, so we had cars there both times. My car ended up being there at least one, if not both. I didn't have any intention of practicing, but I had to go there to tech our cars. So after your car show on the 20th, was that the first practice on the 20th? I can't remember.
It got moved to the
it got moved to the next day, right? So the Sunday the 21st. I had a lacrosse game with my boys down in Illinois, so I was late getting there, but I still showed up to do some tech. And my car was there, and I figured, oh, what the heck? I had all my gear, so I went out and did 10 laps. But so my car is all good to go. But we shook down the other 2 cars. The most important thing was getting Nate, some seat time, and we also had a couple other rookies. We have, I think, 4 rookies that are going to run full time with us this year for the Rookie of the Year, and we could have as many as 7 that run with us periodically throughout the season. So. I got like 10 laps under my belt. Everything felt good. So I felt I was good. So I put it away, just waiting for the first race.
Now, Sycamore, I know, is a track that you guys ran at several times last year, I believe. And your thoughts about that track? It's been a long time since I've been there. Actually, I think the last time I was there was the first time the IRA ran there about 30 years ago
Oh, wow.
in a show that was promoted by Tom Deary and the late John McCarnes. And they almost canceled the show because it had been raining off and on all day. It was very foggy. And Todd Bishop ended up picking up the win in the McBride Shaw number 23 out of Central Illinois. But when he went down the back straightaway and I was announcing from their tower, we couldn't see him. The car would disappear into the fog on the back straightaway, and then we'd see it coming out of 3 and 4, and then back down the front straightaway, we'd see it, and then it would disappear again. And it was very interesting for the fans. It was a great show. He picked up the win. And actually, a guest that we're going to have on in a little bit, Scotty Thiel, won the return of the IRA 410s just a couple of years ago back to
Yeah, I won that night as well.
So you kind of like when some of these, renewal races happen, right?
Yeah, they're fun. Sycamore in general, we love the place as a club and personally. Tiffany and her family, they've always been great to us. We typically get 2 shows. Sometimes we get 3. We got 3 this year. They have the luxury of having 2 tracks kind of within one there. They have 2 different turns, 3s and 4s. So every now and then we get to run the small track, which is like a 5th mile. And it's intense because, it's like 12-second laps and we're done. So we're going back on, I think it's like the July 4th weekend, whatever that is, July 6th, I think. We're doing the small track. And then we go back again at the end of August 28th. August 24th, whatever that last Saturday is in August, I believe. That's the John Smith Memorial that we started last year.
So, okay. And now what are your plans for this year? I know you've had a lot of success over the years. Are you shooting for a title? Are you just, hey, I'm taking each race as it comes, each night as it comes, and let the points fall where they may?
Yeah, I think that's the best approach to take. Let the points fall where they may. We just want to go out and try to win every night. So we go to try and win every night or finish in the top 3. Goal obviously is to win, but anything that we'll take anything in the top 3, and you do that every night, chances are the points will work themselves out.
Now your boys have kind of, I've kind of taken a liking to them because they've kind of taken a liking to me. And, what are the boys up to now? You just mentioned lacrosse.
Yeah, they're actually at
boys in racing.
Not yet. They bug me. They were talking about it this morning. Every morning when they get up, when they have their breakfast and get ready for school, they usually turn on the TV and watch stuff while they're eating. And this morning they had outlaw carts on. There's a track up in northern Wisconsin, kind of by Cedar Lake there. That there was a racer and his family that they document all their racing. I think the dad races and a bunch of kids, and the kids were racing outlaw carts, and they're like, "Dad, can we do that?" And we're like, maybe. The hardest part is going to be convincing Mom to allow it. I'm all in. I'm fine with it, but Mom's a little scared.
Sure Grandpa's okay with it.
He's okay with it too. Exactly. He wants to save my car, all 3 of our cars for the boys when they're ready, but they still got a couple of years yet before they're eligible to drive. Carter is going to turn 9 in September, and Grady turns 7 this summer. But they got to be at least 13 to drive with us, so they got a little bit of waiting to do.
Well, I'll tell you, I can still remember. I believe it was Carter that said, "Let's go racing with us on the front straightaway." What was he like?
He was like 2. He was 2. Yeah, I got the video still on my Facebook page somewhere. So yeah, he was like 2.5, almost 3. But yeah, he loves that stuff, and he's been able to do it a couple times with you. So we're very fortunate for that. And then we've even had Dave Rudolph like on nights where on my birthday specifically, I remember they were up in the stands next to the scoring tower, and Dave gave him the mic, and they said, "Let's go racing and happy birthday, Dad." So they love getting on the mic there. Yeah,
well, we're going to have a new young lady that's going to be working with me this year in the announcing end of Wilmot. Maya's her name, and she's very enthusiastic. We went out there. I kind of showed her around the track last week, And one of the things that she's going to be doing is she's going to be roving through the grandstands and talking with fans. So the boys may get a chance to be on the mic quite a bit this year. So we're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun with her joining me on the mic, and gives this old guy a little break once in a while. I don't have to run up and down the grandstands quite as much. Speaking of all, the new grandstands and that, you've seen a lot of improvements at Wilmot in the last even 2-3 years.
Yep.
Your thoughts about the improvements and the change in the track? I don't know if it's a change in the track design, but it's definitely a change in the safety around the track with the new wall and the new fencing.
Yeah. So the improvements for the fans, all dating back to like the concession stands and the bathrooms being remodeled, and then obviously the grandstands is a huge thing. Those are all great, right? That was always the biggest complaint I'd hear from people, is how uncomfortable those wooden bleachers were. So nice to get some new aluminum ones with the backs. The backs are the biggest thing, right? The back savers. So that's great. And then drivers can never complain about safety improvements. I think that's one of the biggest things you hear a lot of the outlaw drivers complain about to some of the tracks that they go to, is their biggest gripe is safety. If you look at that track, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago that the high limit race, that the ditch, they had a car go right through the fence. The fence had no cables. And so if that was like on the front straightaway, that could have been very dangerous. So
yeah, well, we're definitely glad to see that. And actually, we're having a guy. My security didn't do a very good job here. My cats didn't keep him away. So joining us, actually, to slide in here a little bit so you can get seen on camera, is Scott Carpenter, who provided me with this set. My nice table, nice chair, the lighting we got here from B&L Office Furniture. And, Scott's with us tonight. And Scott actually has this week off, Mike, so you won't get to listen to him, but Scott's going to be on the mic some with me this Saturday night as well.
Well, we wouldn't listen to him anyway because we're at Sycamore this week. Wait, we don't come back to Wilmot, and we'll be back at Wilmot on the Memorial Day weekend with the IRA. That I think that's the 25th or 26th, whatever that Saturday is. That's our next race at Wilmot.
Yep, that's the 25th, and that'll be another special night, Mike. That's Founders Night presented by Bodycraft. So
we moved Founders Night up. I thought Founders Night was in July. Usually, they must have moved it. Oh, because the 410s aren't there in July anymore this year.
Yeah, so we moved it up. It's going to be Memorial Day with a weather date in June, and we won't use the weather date though. We're going to go ahead and do it Memorial Day weekend. Well, Mike, we wish you the best. We know the boys are they playing tonight or practicing lacrosse?
They're at lacrosse practice right now until about 7:00, and baseball practice got rained out last night. So we're doing double duty for the next 2.5 weeks, and then it'll just be baseball until the middle of July. Baseball and then my racing.
There you go. Well, good luck to you. We'll be looking forward to a great report on how well you did down at Sycamore next week, and wish the best to you, the boys, the wife, and your entire family. Tell everybody hello for me.
Will do. Thanks a lot, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Take care, Mike. Thanks.
Yep. Bye-bye.
That was Mike New. Mike New joining us from actually, I never did ask him where he was from. He's from up in Kenosha or some way. Well, Scott.
Yeah. Hey, what's happening, Mike?
How are you, Scott?
Good. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing all right. So what brings you to our studio here?
I wanted to come pick up some schedules to hand out, to try to help promote Wilmot and get some people in the stands and come out and watch some really awesome racing and, buy some really great food and just have a really great time.
So Saturday night, the Bandits are off this Saturday. And so I know we talked about it some last week, but why don't you go ahead and fill the Bandit drivers in and those that might not have been tuned in last week to our program, what you and American Tire are doing with the Bandit division this year.
Yeah, so we're the sponsors for that division. They never had a sponsor before, and it came up that they were looking for a sponsor to put in that spot. And I talked to my sponsor that's on the car, Tim, over at Great American Tire in Kenosha, and he was excited to do it. And I was like, well, let's sponsor the series together. We'll split it, and and that just sounded like a really neat thing to do. And then for the people who sign up for the membership, they're going to receive after we finally get to run our first race.
It was supposed to be last
Yeah,
week.
it's supposed to be last week. It didn't kind of happen.
Well, Santa delayed the sleigh a little
Right. It's loaded down some.
bit.
But we're going to give out an additional $25 to everybody who's signed up for the membership when they get their payout for the feature race that night. So yeah, that's just to kind of help, get things started.
And
Encouragement.
correct. So now the Bandits will be back with us on the 18th.
I believe so. The 18th. Yep.
On the 18th. So we'll be looking
There we
at
are.
that'll be family night. And, also giving away some checkered flags to the youngsters that night. So it'll be a lot of fun. But since you're off this week, I asked you and you said, sure. You're going to join me on the mic up in the tower this Saturday night at Wilmot.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll be there for you.
That sounds good. And then you can check out you see what it is. I haven't told you this yet.
Oh.
You're going to be my runner. To go down to the concession stand to get the new concession items, and then you can bring them up, and then we can sample them, and then we can tell everybody how good they are.
I'll probably sample them on the way, and I'll let you know how good they are. Let you sample them, and then you can, tell everybody how good they are.
There we go. Well, that'll work out really well. Well, again, we appreciate you stopping in. You are welcome to sit and relax over here in our version of the green room.
Yeah, it is. It's free.
and just listen in on the show. And then maybe afterwards we'll go grab an ice cream.
Okay, that sounds fine.
All right. Thanks, Scott.
You're welcome. Thanks, Mike.
Scott Carpenter with B&L Office Furniture. Again, we thank him for his providing us with this beautiful set. And he's going to just kind of sit and relax over there a little bit. And I don't know. We gotta raise your sign somehow.
They can see it. It's pretty good. We don't want to put it in front of you.
There we go. Move it back this way. There we go. I just keep moving it back as long as I don't hit my foot with it. All righty. Well, now we're going to shift gears a little bit, and we're going to go to John from Great Lakes Dragaway. Great Lakes Dragaway, always, they're racing 6 days out of 7 days. Great Lakes Dragaway is going at it hot and heavy. So we want to welcome you, John, to the program and tell folks a little bit about what's happening up at Great Lakes Dragaway. I know last night, I got a feeling you didn't race last night. I could be wrong.
No, you're right. Yeah, absolutely correct. Yeah, it got rained out, unfortunately, but we're getting ready for this weekend. We have a nitrous streetcar brawl, we call it, on Saturday. So we got a few groups that are going to be racing during our group, Bruce City Gasser, that I race with, Pro E85, Classic American Muscle Car Association, Midwest Gassers, Door Slammers. And the kind of exciting thing too is the Wisconsin Outlaw Street Class. Those are really fast door slammer cars that will be racing on Saturday. The track is going to be professionally prepped by the Total Venue Concepts. It's going to be a killer surface to race on. And they're going to be prepping it on Friday also, so the guys can get some testing in before the weekend for the race. Pretty exciting racing to watch, and it's going to be a good time. I'm home right now instead out at Great Lakes Dragaway because I get my car ready to go for the weekend and helping one of my buddies get his going too. So I'll be kind of busy from now until Saturday.
And I know that, we've pretty much hit the prime season for Great Lakes Dragaway. You guys have stuff going virtually 6 days a week, sometimes 7 when you have an event, a special event like coming up Memorial Day weekend. And, just things seem to take off up there at Great Lakes Dragaway. Have you ever added up the total number of dates that Great Lakes Dragaway is scheduled to compete? I know you've lost a couple to the weather already, but number of dates it's scheduled to be open.
Yeah, I never added that up. I'll have to go and count it to see what it is because it's quite a few. And it's kind of nice also for some of the racers or the spectators. You can buy a fun racing pass or a spectator's pass that's good for the whole season. And you really get your money's worth because you got so many days that the track is open that you can come out there and race if you want to or spectate. I expect Friday, even though the main race is on Saturday, Friday is probably going to be a pretty good day to come out there and spectate because of the track prep and these guys with these high horsepower cars that are going to be testing. So it's a fun time to just go out there and hang out. If you're not racing even, it's a great venue.
What kind of speeds are we going to be looking at this weekend at Great Lakes Dragway?
Well, I can tell you that a lot of the Wisconsin Outlaw Street guys, they run 8th mile because they're going so fast. Those cars are capable, I think, probably close to 170 miles an hour in the 8th mile. I know some of the other heavy hitter cars, we've seen 200 and I've seen probably 230 miles an hour in the quarter mile with the turbo cars. I don't know if they're going to be running those full quarter mile classes, some of those cars on Saturday, but I know the 8th mile stuff is they're getting really, really quick. Those cars are really capable of probably going in the low 6-second quarter miles if they stayed in them. So I think that's one of the reasons they switched to 8th mile for some of those classes, because they're going so quick and they're going so fast. It's a lot safer. They'd be going way too quick in the quarter mile.
Well, that's fantastic. And now, we saw the really tight finish in NASCAR this last weekend. They said it was, initially they said it was 0.000 because they couldn't even get it to register, but then they changed it to 0.001, I think, is what they ended up saying. There's still disputes on who actually won. Larson got the victory according to NASCAR, but there's people that don't agree with that say it was, that was just the angle that camera had, and that wasn't the correct angle. But how close are some of the finishes that you see up there at Great Lakes Dragway, and how do you determine who the winner is?
Well, that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. You could have a slower ET, but still win the race if you are good on the Christmas tree, which is a starting line coming down. If you get a really good reaction time and get off the Christmas tree, you could get ahead of the guy before the other guy leaves and have say a slower ET, but still win the race. I've seen some of those races that they measure to the 100th of a second, and they'll almost be virtually identical, like 100th of a second off, closer to a couple thousandths of a second they'll go down to. And the guys that do a lot of the bracket racing and some of the other index races with a certain index, let's say a 850 index, they can be right on that index and within a couple thousandths of a second. And it's crazy how accurate they are, how close they can be. And some of them I've raced myself out there where I don't know who wins unless you see the little wind light comes on after this finish line. And it's like it gets so close. Those are the fun races when they're like that. Yeah.
Now, I know over the years, and we talked about this, I think, a couple of weeks ago when Steve Sinclair was on. Steve Sinclair's late dad was a champion at Great Lakes Dragway a number of years ago, and we've had some connections between some of the drivers that have come over to Wilmot or raced with the IRA that also did some racing at Great Lakes. But I was just thinking this. Has there ever been a stock car come over and race another stock car from an oval track on the drag strip?
I've been going out there quite a bit, and I've been out there quite a bit, and I don't recall any of them being out there and doing that. And that would be kind of neat to see. I'd be curious to see, what their times would be, because there's a lot of horsepower, and what the cars would do. I'd be curious to see what they would do. That'd be kind of neat. Be a neat race.
Yeah, I think it would be kind of fun. I mean, the only problem we got is a wing sprint car or 410, a wingless sprint car. They both have to be push started, so I don't think that would work out real well.
Yeah,
but
right.
Bandits, Scott's over here, but Scott goes, we could. The Bandits could do it from a standing start. That could be a little bit interesting. Maybe I'm sure, John, and I'm sure Randy and Colette they'd be up for it. We could work that out some night, bring the Bandits over for some drag racing.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Yeah.
On a Wednesday night. There you go. And we could do the show from there.
Yeah, and then when you get done, you can take them over. When you get done, take them over to the drift. Yeah, when you get done doing the drag racing, take them over to the drift track and do some drifting with them on there. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, we know that you got some specials coming up Memorial Day weekend, John. So why don't you go ahead? I know we're a couple weeks out, but why don't you go ahead and mention a couple of those events that you got coming up pretty soon?
Yeah, the Memorial Day, the Saturday that we have going on, that's another big event. We're going to have probably, I guess right now, so far, we have like four jet cars booked in. The Chi-Town Hustlers going to be there, Chicago Wise Guys, Pro 85, our group, the Bruce City Gassers. We're also going to have the 1320 Legend dragster cars there. It's usually a pretty fun, full event. We get quite a few cars in there during the whole day making passes. So it's it'll work pretty good for the spectators. It's pretty much the whole day is full.
And that weekend you will be racing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday that weekend?
No, that weekend they just what they found out is they just do it on Saturday as the main event. You know, we tried to do a 2-day event like a Saturday, Sunday, and what ended up happening is the for the big race. And then what happened, a lot of people don't show up on Sunday, or a lot of people want to go back. So we do the big main event now is pretty much on Saturday, Memorial Day. There'll be some test and tune racing and some other things that are going on Sunday and Monday, but the big event, the big race is on Saturday.
Okay, and we know that to keep everybody happy, and you know, when Mama's happy, everybody's happy. This Sunday, Great Lakes Dragaway is quiet.
Yes. Yeah. Keep it quiet for Mother's Day, you bet. Yeah.
Mother's Day, no racing at Great Lakes Dragaway, but we'll be racing. I presume you're going at it tonight out there. I would think the weather's okay tonight for sure.
Yeah, tonight is ladies' night. So believe it or not, ladies get in for free and race for free if they want to come out and try their luck. That's Wednesday night is ladies' night, and that's what we'll do is we do the bracket race. Ladies do a bracket race, and we take the winners from them, and then we take the men, and they do a bracket race, and we do a battle of the sexes, the winner of the women against the winner of the men's bracket race, and see who's good we keep track all year and see who's the winner. A lot of times the women win. They got very good reaction times. They do well.
Well, that's fantastic. And how late are you open tonight?
Tonight we stay open till around 10 o'clock. Yeah, usually 10 o'clock during the week, and that varies during the year, but it's pretty much 10 o'clock is where we go. Some nights you may go a little bit later, but we're limited by how late we can stay open.
Trying to be good neighbors, right?
Yes.
Looking at my watch, then that means we got about 3.5 more hours to go do some racing at Great Lakes Dragaway. So we encourage anybody viewing us tonight, head on out there, especially the ladies. Ladies are getting in free and get to race for free. So go out there and have some fun. Take the husband's car. Don't tell him. Just take the keys, take the car, and let him find out later.
Yeah, that works. Yeah. Anything that works. Yeah.
All righty. And one more quick thing, John, where folks can go for the latest information on Great Lakes Dragaway, website, Facebook page, phone number.
Okay. Website is greatlakesdragaway.com. Our phone number is 262-878-3783. And that we can go off Facebook page. If you look up Great Lakes Dragaway on Facebook, there's a lot of information that's shared on there also.
Yeah, I've noticed that there's a lot of old pictures from Great Lakes Dragaway from many, many years ago on one of the Facebook pages that I found. And it's really neat to take a look at that stuff that used to compete there years and years ago.
Yeah, they have that one web page, the Great Lakes Dragaway first 40 years, I should say, on the Facebook page. And that's a really neat group. People share some cool old pictures, which we're kind of into with our group that we raced with the Gassers that are like 1966 and older. There's a lot of things we can relate to.
Okay, well, John, we're going to let you get back to work on the car so that you're all ready to go this weekend. Good luck to you this weekend, and we'll be looking forward to a great report from you on your win next Wednesday when we talk to you.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you. And we'll talk to you next week. Yeah.
Thank you, John. And that's John joining us from Great Lakes Dragaway. And now we're shifting gears again. No pun intended. And I believe we're going to have them both on here at once. We've got Jimmy Sivia and his son, Colin. We've got two racers joining us. And we're going to start with the youngest racer, a little bit different. Usually you go with the elder first, but we're going to go with Colin because Colin's already won 3 races. a feature?
Yeah, I've
sweep?
won.
Hey,
Yeah,
clean
yeah.
sweep on Sunday.
I clean sweeped her on Sunday.
Okay, where was that at, Colin?
Exit 7 Motorsports Park in Kelowna, Illinois.
And how far down is that from our area up here, up in the Northlands?
3.5 hours.
It's about 3.5 hours straight west of here. You go straight out 88. It's right on the Iowa border, so it's not too terrible, but they got a good following out there, so good place for him to go and race with some more experienced racers.
And about how many racers did you have out there to compete against, Colin?
We had 8.
Yeah,
It was either 7 or 8 people out there. So
we're hoping to have a few more. He's gonna run again on
Friday
night at Viola
Backroad Speedway in Viola, Illinois.
Yeah, so it's out that way also. There's 3 different tracks within an hour of each other, and they all run. You could actually go out there and you can run Friday, Saturday, Sunday if you wanted to. And so our plan is to run on Friday night, and we're hoping for some more karts. 7 or 8 of them ain't much, but it beats the alternative of not racing at all. So,
how old are you, Colin?
I'm 12 years old.
You're 12, and how long have you been racing?
I've been racing since I was 8. Yeah, 8 years old. I started at Fort Atkinson.
Okay, and how old were you when you won your first race?
9.
I think it was his. I think he won at that first year. He won towards the end of the year.
I think I won I won at the end of the year.
So you'd have been
8.
8 years old.
I was 8 when I first got my first feature win.
And sponsors and people that help you get to the racetrack. I know that your family goes way back in racing, and I know you had a great grandpa that raced and a grandpa that raced, right?
Yes, yeah, I have. And I want to thank MLS Auto Clinic, Johnny Z's Poorhouse, Kenny Herman, TR's Front Row in Greenwood, Trifinity Specialized Distribution, Smoking Pig Express Hot Dog Cart, RLB Hydraulics, Sensi by my mom, Jessica Sivia, Jack's Helmet Designs, and Collins Cuts Lawn Care and Cleanup. That's my business. And then Adam Sivia, Papa and Gimo, and Grandpa and Chuck.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, you've done a great job already. And we just heard Mike New talking about that his boys got a couple more years before they can get into a lightning sprint. What about you? Let's see, you're 12, so then maybe 2 more years before you'd be able to race. And 1 more year. Colin says, I can do it in one.
Maybe next year.
If I wanted to race next year in a lightning sprint, I could.
We're trying to talk to the right people and see if that can happen or not, but we'll see.
Okay,
it would be nice if Wilmot could get that go-kart track done, and we could take this thing there and go and get him a win there at Wilmot with the go-kart.
Well, we, I know I've talked with you guys, and we will probably be having a meeting at some point this summer and taking a look at that and seeing how much interest there is. I know there's interest in your family, and I know there's interest in a couple of other families, but it takes a little bit more than that to run a race. So, but we are looking at that. So, we'll see where that goes, and I will definitely, get you folks involved with me when we have those meetings, and then we'll just kind of take it from there. And we may have something to announce on a future show here. Colin, we're going to kind of shift gears to your dad here a little bit. I mean, you're the only one that's gotten to do a lot of racing. I mean, Dad got to race a little bit a couple weeks ago up at Plymouth.
Just a little teaser.
Jimmy, tell us a little bit about your opener up there at Plymouth.
Yes, a couple weeks ago we ran Plymouth. We kind of knew going into it that the weather, was going to be iffy. We're just I'm glad that they tried, because we all got to get out there and get the itch off a little bit. But we basically had a qualifying and a heat race in, and we're rolling out for the feature, and then it started raining again.
Downpour.
After, that was the second rain delay, and there was lightning, so they had to go ahead and call it. But up to that point, we were having a really good night. I think we were second quick overall, and then we ran second in the heat race after a really good race with Ryan Marshall in the heat race there. So we were looking forward to running that feature. We were going to start fourth row, but looking forward to the weather's starting to look a little bit better for this weekend too. So hopefully we can get it going at Wilmot.
This weekend, again, it's the Autometer Wisconsin Wingland Sprint Series presented by Gandrud. And then we've also got Wilmot has a track points that you'll be accumulating. So you'll be going for 2 different championships this year at Wilmot. You'll be going for the overall series, which runs, besides Wilmot, it runs a number of different tracks, like you just mentioned, Plymouth.
Sure.
And a few other tracks as well. I know you're going to be at Angel Park. Do you guys go down to Sycamore?
We have a show there later in the year. It's actually we run there on a Friday night before our championship night at Plymouth. So
We run at Plymouth.
we actually
Sycamore.
have a pretty big weekend coming up here at the start of next month. We got a 3-day weekend at Eagle Valley, Wisconsin, and then Cedar Lake Speedway on Saturday, and then we'll come back down to Sun Prairie on Sunday. So that'll be a good weekend. I know a lot of the guys in the series are looking forward to that, and racing with that other series that runs at Cedar Lake, UMSS. They got some good talent up there, so it'll be fun to race with some different guys and see how we stack up.
Now, it is kind of funny because I can still remember maybe 2 years ago when I interviewed you in Victory Lane at Wilmot, and you pretty much at that point had said you were retiring.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the banquet comes around and you're like, well, I don't know.
Right.
I might come back and run a few. And then the next thing we know, Jim's running for the championship.
Sure.
So,
Well, I mean, here's the deal. It's hard to quit when we're still having fun and we're still pretty good at it. So, and it keeps all of us out of trouble. We do it as a family. I got my whole, my uncles are all involved, most of which are retired. So if they didn't have this, they'd be, what would they have? So it just, it's something for, keep us out of trouble on the weekends. We're pretty good at it, and it's a lot of fun. So
well, and you've got your father-in-law Daryl Dodd and his late father Junior. That was we're both very much involved in racing for a long time and very much involved in the IRA.
Yeah.
Your Junior will be recognized along with the late Ray Toft and Whitey Harris on Founders Weekend at Wilmot coming up on May 25th. And I know that's a big night for the IRA.
Sure is.
All 3 IRA divisions will be racing that night, the 410s, and we're going to have Scotty Thiel here on in just a minute. The Wingless and the Lightnings will be all running that evening. So that's going to be a great program. We also have some of the old style cars. Some people are going to bring out their old cars and have them on display, which will be kind of cool. Did you have any pressure, Jimmy, to race, or was this something that you just kind of liked?
No, there was no pressure. If anybody was putting the pressure on, it was probably me putting the pressure on my dad and my mom to keep going. They're a huge part of making this possible for me to keep racing. Obviously, they own everything, so that I'm able to do that and able to keep him going. But at some point here, we keep saying it, but at some point I am going to have to back off because I want Colin to, Colin's pretty good and I want to take him racing too. But, he enjoys going to the sprint car races too. So that makes it a little easier. He doesn't mind not racing on Saturday nights himself. And But no, there's no pressure. I got, we have great partners on our team. We have a great team, all of which have been with me since pretty much the start. And, you ask any good team, they've been together for a long time. And so where we are now, that's because we've been together for so long. And we all just enjoy it. Everybody comes, we work on the car Mondays, Wednesdays.
And the other days we're here.
And then the other days we're here. So, like I said, if, like Matt and Larry, Larry's actually neighbors with my father. So it makes it a little easier there. He comes over to the garage, and then Matt's over at the garage. And so he's spending time
Roebuck's who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about, but so the listeners out there understand.
Sure. Yeah, Matt and Larry Roebuck and Tom Dietz and my Uncle Bose and my dad. So we enjoy it. We're having fun, and that's really the main reason. If there was any kind of pressure, we wouldn't be doing it. So.
Marketing partners you want to thank. Colin did. I mean, he's got it down. Whoops, he's got it down.
He does. He has it down. Probably a little better than me. But yeah, I would like to thank Grand Appliance TV, Kenny Herman, R&R Tavern in Russell, Illinois, ROB Hydraulics in Beach Park, Lake County Hose and Equipment, Bullseye Boring, Goodwin Performance, Bailings. My son's little landscaping business here, Collins Cuts Landscaping. And then my wife, Jessica, with her Sensi, Horsley Custom Paint, and Tierney Signs for making our cars look as good as they do every year. And then I just got to really thank also, Jack's Helmet Designs for making our helmets look awesome, both me and Colin. And then our team, Matt Roebuck, Larry Roebuck, Tom Dietz, and my mom and dad for always backing me and making all this possible. And last but not least, my wife, Jessica, for supporting both of us and letting us do what we love to do. And my daughter also, Kimberly. They are our biggest fans and support us every week. And we couldn't be more thankful.
Well, I don't know if you heard John. It's ladies' night at Great Lakes Dragaway, so Jessica could grab your car, the family car, and shoot on out.
Yep. She's on her way, so she's going to set quick time.
There is no way in heck that she is going to go do that.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, we thank you very much for joining us. We wish you the best. And we hope to see you both in Victory Lane. I know Colin sometimes shows up in Victory Lane with other people, Jim.
You never know who he's going to catch in Victory Lane. He might just try.
Well, I work on every car.
Which is a good thing. I love it.
Well, we wish you well Friday night, Colin, in your racing. And Jim, we wish you well on Saturday. And hopefully next week we'll have a good report that you both had some victories.
Yeah, I got he's one up on me now, so I gotta even it up. So hopefully Saturday.
He's also been complaining he wants to get a win at Beaver Dam because.
Yeah. We'll see. But thank you for having us on.
All right, thank you guys. Take care, and we'll see you.
Take care.
God
Mike.
bless now. Bye. And again, that was Colin and Jimmy Sivia joining us, and now we're going to shift gears to our final guest of the evening. Scotty Thiel is joining us. Scotty, first of all, congratulations on a big win last Saturday night up there at Cedar Lake.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate that. It was one heck of a win, probably the most awkward win I've ever had because I didn't really know at the time that I did win. So, just kind of wicked track conditions all night. And you had to kind of get up on the wheel a little bit. So got real rough later on in the race, and the cars were just packed full of mud. And about gave it away, about flipped coming off of 4. And I thought I got past, but it was just a lap car that was down below us. And until Sinclair came over the radio and said 73 first, I was like, oh, okay. So we'll take it.
Yeah, I saw some video of it and a photo of it, and it was unbelievable when you were coming out of 3, I think it was, that you were bicycling in your battle for the lead. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it was just it was hammer down all night long. It actually dried up a little bit, like in qualifying down the backstretch, and then as the night went on, the moisture just came back, and like there was literally standing water on the backstretch when the feature was happening. But so the track just got tackier and tackier as the night went on, and you couldn't really free up the car anymore than what it was. So yeah, we came across the scales. It was like 1669, I think Kevin said. So like that's a couple 100 pounds heavier than what we normally are, and definitely made for an adventurous feature. So yeah, we started 8th, just didn't have a good dash draw, and couldn't really pass anybody there. Just kind of picked away cars, a lap at a time when we could, and got conservative when we needed to, and a couple of restarts helped just kind of get us bunched back up. But yeah, the 24, he was setting a pretty good pace after Tatnall had flipped, and I think we were up to like 3rd or 4th at the time. So got around Blacker, so that one restart, and yeah, the 24 tram there, he was gone, and then his pace started slowing up. I guess he ran out of brakes or something like that. So all of a sudden, I seen him when I was coming out of 2, and I kind of just took a couple deep breaths just to get back in rhythm, and started just driving it as hard as I could, and finally got to him, and then we got around him. So I think there was 6 or 7 laps left at the time, 5 or 6 maybe like that, but just had to be smart about it, and for the most part we were.
For folks out there that might be tuning into us for the first time or haven't really heard about what a 610 or a wing 410 is, explain a little bit to the folks out there what the kind of car is that you drive each and every week and each and every race night.
Yeah, so it's a 410 wing sprint car, 410 cubic inches, 950 horsepower. And we have to weigh 1,425 pounds. So our power to weight ratio is equivalent to a Formula One car. It's a hell of a race car. So to put in perspective, we have to weigh 1,425 pounds. Our car with me in it and stuff like that, we're usually 1,460-ish. And yeah, we came across the scales almost 200 pounds heavier that night. So definitely, when you add, weight you don't expect in different areas of the car, it definitely upsets it and doesn't make it work like it should. And yeah, so it was a little bit of a handful, but yeah, they're wicked race cars. They're super fun to drive. It's a thrill every time we get in them. Just a lot of power, and it's a very, very cool experience.
And now the wings kind of work. I always kind of liken them to an inverted airplane wing. They kind of help. And whereas an airplane wing, when you're going to take off going down a runway, you want it to lift so that it lifts the plane up in the air. With you guys, you want the wind to come down on the car to steady the car and to keep the car on the ground and help it make its way around the track.
Yep. So the wings play a big part in downforce and getting the car into the racetrack and getting them hooked up like that. So there's a lot of adjustability from wing angle, and we can slide them forward and backwards to help with downforce and traction and stuff like that. So very intricate part of the race car as well. Got to be smart with where you have it at during the race, and know when to move it when the time comes.
Now, one difference with your kind of race cars and most short track cars for that matter, you've got radios. You mentioned hearing Steve Sinclair, the president of the IRA, coming over the radio and saying that you had won the race. That's what they call a receiver. It's a one-way communication from the tower or from the race officials to the driver. But you don't have anybody that can talk to you during the race to say so-and-so is coming up on your outside or your inside or whatever. Like, we hear when we watch the NASCAR races on television or even the IndyCar or the Formula One for that matter.
Right. Yeah. We're no mirrors, no spotters, no nothing like that. It's you kind of just have to go with sound and feel. And the only person that's really talking is the race director. So it's probably a good thing sometimes, but we that's how it is for us. So you kind of you sometimes you just don't know. Like we lost a race at Beaver Dam the other week. I heard the guy up there. I was just afraid to move up because I about gave it away early on in the race when I did move up a little bit and got really free. So yeah, it's just part of sprint car racing, makes it unique that way, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Now, what did you get started in racing, driving, or when you first drove something?
I actually raced snowmobiles. The first thing I ever raced. So I did that when I was 6 or 7 years old. Little kitty cat snowmobiles on lakes all over Wisconsin and Minnesota and Michigan, and it's kind of crazy deal. So that's how I got started off. And then the deal was my sister was going to race go-karts that next summer. And then so I would race snowmobiles, she'd race go-karts. And the story's told that I must have not been thrilled about that because I wanted to race go-karts as well. So I don't know this for sure, but I ended up racing go-karts that summer as well. So we did go-karts and snowmobiles for 10 years up till 2008. And then actually I was going to be, I had an opportunity to race a pavement late model when I turned 16 in 2008 and needed to bring a crew and stuff like that. And I had sat in a couple sprint cars. I wasn't really a big sprint car fan. Went to some races and stuff like that, but I didn't like them. I just thought it was kind of dumb. You couldn't see nothing, and it was awkward how you sat and everything like that. So I didn't want to do it. And then it was like February of 2008. I walked into our race shop, and there was a sprint car sitting in there. So I called my dad, and I said, "What's this thing?" And he's like, "Yeah, we went and got one this weekend. We're going to go sprint car racing." I said, "Oh, okay." So
You didn't ask him, well, who's driving it?
yeah, no, I was like, "Oh, okay." We had talked about it a little bit, but I was more sold on trying to do this pavement late model thing. And anyways, we were pretty close with Randy Sipple and Mike Ranke and Scott Coleman. So they kind of helped us get everything put together and stuff like that. And Mike Ranke took it to Plymouth and tested it, just to make sure everything was good. And I jumped in it right after he did. And first lap I made, I was like, okay, this is actually pretty cool. So our lap times weren't, spectacular, but I just smashed the throttle and went with it. So it actually had similarities to snowmobile racing in a sense, where with sprint cars, when you get tight, you kind of just stab the brake and the left front will lock up, and you can kind of get the car to rotate. And that was kind of the same way with the snowmobile. If you came flying into the corner, you couldn't really turn. You just grabbed a boatload of brake, and it would just kind of lock the track up and turn you sideways. So that feel was kind of natural to me, I guess, and got to learn, obviously a lot of things from that point till even today. But yeah, it was a cool experience, something I didn't really expect to happen like that. But like I said, I wouldn't trade it for the world now.
Well, when we talked, you said you kind of had some bucket list races now that you've ended up winning. You won the return of the IRA to Sycamore a couple of years ago, and now they're going to be down there this Saturday night once again. And then coming up Memorial Day weekend at Wilmot on the 25th is the 11th annual Interstate Racing Association Founders Night, recognizing the late Ray Toth, the late Junior Dodd, and Whitey Harris, the three original founders of the IRA 50-some years ago at Wilmot. Wilmot, the original home of the IRA. I know that's a race that's eluded you so far, Scotty, but you'd like to get your name on that perennial trophy that is on display up there at the Southeastern Wisconsin Short Track Racing Hall of Fame. Yeah,
it'd be a pretty cool deal. A lot of people don't understand, the history and the nostalgia of Founders Night and what it's all about. So, and even when I started getting going with it, I had no idea how it all started and worked and stuff like that. And over the years racing with the club and listening to Steve's stories about everything like that. It's a special deal. So, it's not just another race. There's some extra meaning to it all and stuff like that. And yeah, Wilmot and I, we've had a little bit of a love-hate relationship. So we've won a few races there, not a lot, gave some away, had some bad runs and stuff like that. So, it'd be pretty cool to win that and get, like you said, get my name on a trophy like that. Our goal this year is just to, go and try to win as many races as we possibly can. So we have the equipment. I think we finally got a team put together here now. So we just got to keep digging and stay focused and take the task at hand.
Yeah, well, and Mark and Tony Maglio of Bodycraft putting up some extra money for that Founders Night. This is the second year in a row they've done that, so be a few extra dollars for you if you can get that win on the 25th. Thanks to Mark and Tony Maglio. And this weekend, of course, Sycamore coming up for you. Sponsors, marketing partners that you want to mention that help you get to the racetrack each and every week.
Yeah. So just touching base on the extra money, I didn't know about that. I wasn't at Founders Night last year. I was racing for somebody else in different series and stuff like that. So it's always really cool when people step up and throw money into it. And it goes probably underappreciated sometimes. These people are sticking their necks out to make it more worthwhile for us drivers and teams. So I always take great appreciation for people that do that. And our sport needs more people like that. So I can't take it for granted when them opportunities come about, and that's definitely special. So that's good to know. Hopefully I can meet them and just shake their hand and say thanks. So I'm usually one to at least try to say thank you to people like that. So, all of our partners, we have a really, really great group of partners this year. And so first and foremost, I got to thank Gibbsville Cheese, Professional Plating, Scottfield Builders, Ludwig and Southern Trucking, Total Restoration Services, Schmidt's Landscaping, Lift Pro Wisconsin, GRP Motorsports, Complete Water, Lake Home Retreats, Triple X Chassis. Oh man, we got a lot of product sponsors too. So, Bailings, Kaiser Wheels, Winners. I think HRP, got to thank them. And just everybody that's a part of this program, all the people that are behind us and support us and deal with us doing what we're trying to do and going up and down the road and driving to Texas twice and back because we wanted to go racing and stuff like that. So our family is definitely an important part of this whole program, and they allow us to do a lot of cool stuff. So Oz and Dakota, they've been working really, really hard. I just got strep throat last night, so I haven't really been around and been much of a help this week. So I'm trying to get pumped full of medication to be ready to go for the weekend. So we'll take it from there and see what we can do.
All right. Well, good luck to you, Scotty. I appreciate you taking the time and being with us tonight here on the Let's Go Racing Motorsports Report. And hopefully the next time we chat, I'll be in Victory Lane at Wilmot on Founders Night.
That'll be pretty cool. Thanks for having me, Mike. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Scotty. And that was Scotty Thiel joining us, and we wish him well this weekend with the IRA Sprint Cars at Sycamore, and then we'll look forward to seeing him down at Wilmot on the 25th. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this week's show. We also want to remind you that we're going to be coming out of the studio soon. We're going to be going to Buddy's in McHenry. And we're going to be down there once they start the Green Street car shows on Monday nights. We're going to do a little bit of taping, and then we're going to do the show back in the studio and kind of put it all together. So we want to thank Buddy's, Sean and the crew at Buddy's of McHenry. Great place. They got great pizza. They got great gyros. They got great sandwiches. They're open for breakfast. You can actually get a breakfast pizza or a breakfast burrito that are just awesome. So we're going to be down at Buddy's sometime real soon. Just keep watching and check us out on Facebook. So until we see you this Saturday night at Wilmot Raceway, this is Mike Babicz wishing you a pleasant evening, the best of tomorrows. Remember, kids, just say no to drugs. Thanks. Good night. God bless everybody. And let's go racing.
Yeah.